What's up everyone? Welcome to another video. I want to thank you all for watching yesterday's video, which was a news video talking about everything that had dropped in the last few days, and you all really enjoyed it. But a lot of you asked me to actually analyze the pictures, and you all were giving me some idea. So in this video, that's what I decided to do. And to give some context, all of these screenshots were captured on the PlayStation 5, so everything you're seeing is actually going to be in the game. Anything that I find interesting, I'm going to talk about. So let's get right into it. Let's start with a big one. Yes, pun intended. Rate that joke in the comment section out of 5. 5 is the best. Let's start with Thor versus Kratos. Honestly, even though people say that Thor is fat and they don't like the design, here you can really see that the size difference is actually really menacing to look at. Having Thor almost looking down at Kratos in the scene with his big body makes him look really tough. But a closer look at it, you get to see that there's blood on Thor's knuckles and blood coming from his mouth. Now this can be interpreted as two things. The blood on his knuckles are coming from blows that he landed on Kratos, and the blood coming from his mouth is blood that Kratos caused, damaging Thor. Or maybe all the blood that's on Thor's body is damage he received from fighting Kratos in this scene. Now, before I continue, in the article by Santa Monica, it did give some details on some of the things that do happen in this fight. I am not going to tell you what that is. If you're curious, you can check out the interview for yourself. There will be a link in the description to the article, but I won't be mentioning it here. One last thing about this image I find interesting is that Mjolnir is fucking huge, the hammer part. Kratos' hands is on it, and you can see both of Kratos' hands couldn't fill the space that Mjolnir has. Mjolnir, the hammer part, is bigger than Kratos' head. Really menacing of a weapon. Kratos in front of Brock as Brock looks at a piece of Kratos' armor. Now, this is actually the shield that Brock is holding. The article does say that Kratos' shield was actually damaged in battle. So perhaps in the reveal trailer where we saw Freya attack Kratos and Kratos blocked it, but the shield couldn't close all the way. So perhaps this is the damage that had happened. And this is when we get to start to have some customizations with the shield itself. So this is Brock analyzing that shield, and this is where we start getting the Dauntless shield and the Stone Wall shield. Next up, we have a new enemy type called the Raiders. They gave a description on these enemies, and it said that these are mortals that are in Midgard that are pretty upset that Kratos caused Fimbulwinter. Now, I find these enemies really cool because it's nice to actually fill this space up, fill this realm up with actually people. We do know that the humans are scattered, but there are mortals there. But another thing that I found interesting, and a lot of other people were telling me this as well, in the back of the Raiders, you can see this structure in the background. A lot of people have speculated that this is trials, similar to God of War 2018. In Muspelheim, you get like these trials, and there's like a sword that sticks up out of the ground. People are saying that this might be the same structure as those trial structures. What do you all think? This next scene is Kratos standing in front of his home, and the only thing that's really interesting here is that Mimir is not there. Perhaps he's still in the house. Next, we have this scene in Svartalfheim, and according to the article, this is Sindri giving Atreus a sonic bowstring where he can actually use sonic arrows, which is a new type of arrows that Atreus has in the game. But one interesting detail here is that Sindri's beard is more grayer than in God of War 2018. Maybe the guy is just getting old. It has been 3 years, so maybe he's just a bit older, but it could be that time just moves a bit faster in Svartalfheim than it does relative to the other realms. What do you all think? Behind Sindri, there's this green substance that seems to be in some type of wagon. The dwarves work underground and they make mine caves, so, maybe this is not really important at all, but I just wanted to point it out. Next, I want to talk about this scene that's very interesting, is Atreus putting his hand on the shrine that depicts Skull and Hati. We saw this in God of War 2018, and I want to talk about a few details. Now, this is not the first time we see Atreus do this in Ragnarok. The first time we saw this was in a trailer where he put his hand on the tree. And once again, he's doing it here to the shrine. However, this one is different. Zooming in on Atreus' hand here, does it kind of seem like something is opening up? If you zoom in really close here, it almost looks as if some of the art is coming apart. There's a big circle around Atreus' hand, and a bunch of these circles that was part of the shrine seem to be moving away from Atreus' hand. This reminds me of God of War 2018 when Atreus put his hand at the mural at the end of the game in Jotunheim, and that's what made it reveal itself. When Kratos touched it, nothing happened. Or even the Black Room when Kratos had his hand on it and then he passed it to Atreus and the Black Room disappeared into his body, and again there was this glow. Perhaps this is a brand new power for Atreus, but until we play the game, we have no idea what it's all about. Next up, we have two wolves here. I believe that these are the two wolves that push around Kratos and Atreus' sled in Midgard. I forget their names, but once I find out, I will put it on your screen right now so you know their names. Atreus seems to be petting one on the left, and a lot of people on Twitter really want Kratos to pet the other wolf on the right. Twitter... They really want Kratos to pet the damn wolf. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I don't see why Kratos will, but who knows. Next, we have Muspelheim. So I find something really interesting here that I didn't notice the first time. Directly in front of Kratos, you can see a structure of some kind here. Maybe someone actually lives here, and the size of this thing, it could be a giant, because we learned in God of War 2018, giants can be any size that they want. So maybe we can actually meet a fire giant in this little structure over here. On the left side of that structure in the rock, you can see a carving of a person. So maybe this is also a fire giant. So maybe this confirms we will actually get to not only meet but interact with a fire giant. Last and certainly not least, I was confused on this image that you're seeing now, because unlike Midgard, there seems to be these weird spikes coming out of the structure on the left side, these weird icicle forms, and a lot of you in the comment section said that this might be Niflheim reverted back to its original state. They confirmed in an article, and something we actually saw in the Game Informer coverage of God of War Ragnarok, is that all the realms are affected by Fimbulwinter. Midgard is frozen over because of the long winter, but all of the other realms are affected in some way. So this might be Niflheim that's affected, and it's being covered with ice now. So this is a theory a lot of people have on Twitter and in my comment section. Let me know if you guys think that is true or not. And that's it for this video. Now again, there were more screenshots, but nothing really sparked my interest, and I don't want to waste your time just saying these look cool if there's nothing to really point out. I don't really want to ruin your viewing experience, but let me know if there's anything I missed or anything I should have talked about or something that you found interesting that I just did not mention. I appreciate a like on this video. I'm gonna be out of here. Thank you guys and girls for listening. I'll see you in the next video.